Okay, YouTube, I'm back with another video, and today's video is going to be on Tatiana Jefferson, a 28-year-old woman who was shot and killed by a Fort Worth police officer. So before I get into this video, I pray that God heals this family. I pray that God gives this family understanding so they can get the knowledge on what happened to their loved one. I pray that God brings them closer together so they can lean on each other for healing. And I pray all these things in your son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. So I'm going to chop up the video on the knowledge that I have of what happened. So I have done a little research. I have been reading and looking and reading because when you come on YouTube to talk about something like this, you want to make sure you have everything in line. You want to have all your ducks in a row. You don't want to say things that's not right, because remember, this is a family that has to heal from this. This is a family that has lost their loved one. So out of respect, let's keep it clean. Hit those comments with good comments, and let's just pray for this family and send love out to this family. So Jefferson neighbor noticed that at 2 a.m. her doors was open and her lights was on. To him, that's no good. It's 2 a.m. Her door shouldn't be open. Let me call a non-emergency line to get a well check. So he calls this line. He says, I noticed my neighbor's doors is open. Can we do a well check? So he says they come out, they park down the road. No lights, no sirens, no nothing. And they decide to go on a property. They're on a property without announcing themselves. Now, Fort Worth released the body cam. So this is the images that is on the screen now is the images of the body cam. And he's on the property. He's not announcing himself. He's walking around. I don't know why they decided to continue to walk around the property without announcing themselves, saying, hey, I'm here to do a well check. Is everyone okay? Police is here. Well check, well check. Now they notice, because it's two still frames, they show you that they located a weapon in a bedroom. And then now he's acting out of fear. His heart is racing because he sees a gun. Now she's acting out of fear because she's like, I think people's walking around my house. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Why are these people around my house? Now, here's one theory. The wind could have been blowing and her door could have opened. Like, sometimes if you don't close the door all the way, you might think you pushed the door closed, but you didn't. And the wind blows and now your door is open. So she's probably like, why my door open? If this is my theory, remember my theory. She's like, why is my door open? People's walking around my house. What's going on? So now out of fear, he sees her in a figure in a window, and now she's dead. He shoots. So is it out of fear? But when he noticed those guns, he should have understood, I live in a gun carry state. You're in a gun carry state. You do the right protocol, get the right permits and license or whatever you need to get to have a gun or a firearm, you are allowed to have. So is there any protocol set up for when this kind of things happen? When you come to a house or you come to a car or you come to a person and they have a weapon on them, it's not pull out and shoot this person, because the state requires you to do whatever you have to do so you can have it. So that means that she could have done all the proper necessary paperwork and she has it legally. Like, it's hers. She did what she had to do and she carries, because every house, like 9 times out of 10, every other house in Texas has a gun, because that's just what it is. That's what it is. That's the law. So as a cop, you should know this. And as a cop, you should have protocols in play. You should have announced yourself. A lot of things that could have happened where this woman should be here. She's in the house playing video games with her 8-year-old nephew that lives with her. Now he's in the house and now his aunt is dead because these cops shot him. And now he's going to be fearful for the cops, because it's like, hey, we was just doing this and they came and shot my aunt. Why they shoot him? And then now you have all these young people who are scared of cops. Like, you've come across a lot of young people who are scared of cops because of what's been going on. Like too many shootings, too many killings. It's just not right. So you have a lot of people, a lot of young people, a lot of older people, but mainly young people that are scared and terrified of police officers now. And that should not be in play, because police officers are here to serve and protect us and to make sure that everything is okay. So I just need to get understanding. I just need the knowledge. So if you understand the gun carry state laws, the protocol with the
put your hands up, show me hands,
and you want to inform everyone, hit those comments. Let everyone know. Any police officers that know, retired police officers, anyone who knows the right way and the right things that should have been done and put in play to have saved this woman's life, hit those comments. But make sure everything is clear. Make sure all the comments that you posted are respectful and mindful of this family, because they did lose a loved one. At the end of the day, Tatiana Jefferson is no longer here. So be respectful. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share, so we can come together and make sure that this does not happen again. Share. I can't stress it enough. Share, so that things can be put in play, so that the next person does not have to lose their life over something as simple as this. So don't forget to send your love to this family. Pray for this family. And please be respectful to this family, because at the end of the day, they have lost a loved one. So thank you, y'all. Until next time, see ya.
A woman was shot and killed in her home by a Fort Worth police officer around 2 this morning. This happened on the south side of Fort Worth on East Allen Avenue. That is where WFA's Eric Alvarez is live to talk us through what happened here. Eric, I know a lot of people still gathered at this home behind you.
Yeah, pretty big turnout. A lot of people want to know exactly what happened here early this morning. It happened here at this home on East Allen and Mississippi. Right now you can see friends and loved ones are here at the residence supporting one another, trying to make sense of this terrible tragedy. Now neighbors say 28-year-old Tatiana Jefferson lived here with her 8-year-old nephew around 2:30 this morning, and neighbors saw the door open and the lights on. He called a non-emergency line asking police to come see if neighbors were okay. We're about to show you what happened next. This is the... Now in that video, you never hear the police officer identify himself. He simply goes through a gate into the backyard, then sees a figure in the window, and then in a span of about 3 seconds, you saw it there, he shouts the orders, put your hands up, show me your hands, and almost immediately after, that deadly shot rings out. Now, Fort Worth police have not identified that officer, but describe him as a white man who has been with the department since April of last year. Now, remember, this all started with a call from a welfare check from a neighbor who says police were supposed to come to make sure Jefferson was okay, not to put her in harm's way.
I explained on the call that there wasn't any violence going on, any type of arguments going on. It was simply a concern for my neighbor. I'm still kind of broken and shocked. They tell me I shouldn't feel bad, but I feel bad because had I not called the police department, she would probably still be alive today. So I do feel a little weight on me for that, making that call.
Now, the officer has been placed on administrative leave. The department says all of the evidence will be handed over to the district attorney's office to see if any criminal charges will follow. And I can tell you that is what a lot of friends, relatives, and neighbors are calling for here at this moment. They say Jefferson had every right to be inside her home and that she posed absolutely no threat to that officer. Back to you.
Eric, a lot of people who are watching this right now on Facebook are expressing how sad this is. I'm sure you've been hearing that from neighbors, but I also want to get back to the man who called to report this wellness check. Again, a non-emergency number, and he did stress, correct, that he was expecting this just to be a check. Did he also talk about his experience hearing this confrontation happen? Did he hear the gunshots? Do we know that? The gunshot, excuse me.
Yes, in fact, he did. He was paying very close attention. He wanted, again, to make sure that his neighbors were safe. So he called the police. He said a number of officers arrived, but they did not park in front of the house. He says that then he just kind of was monitoring, watching. He heard a gunshot, and he didn't know what had happened. And then a few moments later, a lot of other police officers arrived on the scene. He said he did not know who had fired the shot, who had been struck, if that person, had survived. He didn't know for quite some time, and that's what really seems to have bothered him is he didn't know. And just kind of the emotion in his voice when he was saying that he almost wishes he hadn't made that call, but of course in that moment he could not have foreseen what took place here early this morning.
Sure, Eric Alvarez for us live in Fort Worth. Eric, thank you for that update. Fort Worth Mayor Betsy Price sent out this statement today. Writing a statement like this is tragic and something that should never be necessary. A young woman has lost her life, leaving her family in unbelievable grief. All of Fort Worth must surround A. Tatiana Jefferson's family with prayers, love, and support. Chief Kraus and his command staff are acting with immediacy and transparency to conduct a complete and thorough investigation. More details are forthcoming, and the Tarrant County District Attorney Law Enforcement Incident Team Office will ultimately receive this case. Now, we are already starting to see community members react to this shooting, and to say that they are angry would definitely be an understatement.
It's sad enough that our young men are being killed. But when our women are not safe, as men in our community, we are called to stand up and protect the women in our community.
That's right.
And when our women are not safe, then it's going to get to a point that we can no longer be passive.
There you go.
At some point, we have to fight aggression with aggression. As pastors and Christians, yes, we're called to love. We're called to forgive. But we're not called to be fools.
That's right.
And it's time out for you continue to kill the people in our neighborhood and expect us to be passive. So again, I'm with Bishop Kirkland. When I first got involved with this is what I said. What bothers me with us as a community is 2 or 3 weeks we'll be upset, we'll be angry, and then we'll go on with life. But what we're finding out, if we stop for 2 or 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks later, somebody else may be killed. So we got to stand up as a community and let them know that we're sick and tired of our young ladies being killed. We're sick and tired of our sons being killed. And the thing with this, you can't say she had a gun in her hand. It don't matter if she did, because in all actuality, if the Castle Doctrine could have stood in the Amber Guyger trial, then it could have stood in this one. She had the right to protect herself if she's in her own house. And if you're outside of my house, walking outside of my window, and there is a gun in my house, as a person that has property and is a rightful property owner, I have a right to protect myself. So I want to find out how you going to twist this one, how you going to turn this one to try and make it seem as though it's justified for you killing this lady in her house. And the next thing I would like to say to Chief Kraus, Mayor Betsy Price, and all the city officials, we're not asking for a suspension. And I'm saying as a community, we're not asking for a suspension. We're asking for termination. We're not going to allow you to tell us he got suspended for 30 days and we applaud you and say, job well done. This person, whoever it is, male or female, does not need to be on the streets. Because if that was me and I killed somebody that was in their own house, me knowing from dealing with the system, y'all gonna put me in prison and put me in there for a long time. So we cannot allow this woman to do this or this man to do this, keep their job, and then not label them as what they are, and that is a murderer.
That's right.
So again, we're calling on our communities to understand, and I'm with Bishop. No, we're not here to sell our people out. No, we gonna fight hand, feet, tooth and nail for our communities. Because in all actuality, I think that's what people miss. We just like y'all.
That's it.
I don't care how many tables we go sit at. If they catch me at the wrong time in the wrong place, it could be Pastor Rodney McIntosh that get killed, just like they done this woman.
Now, at this point, I want to bring Kevin Reese into the conversation. He's been hearing from neighbors and also those faith leaders in the community we just heard from. Kevin, it seems that the anger has really just grown as we see the video and get more information about what happened here.
And it continues to grow with the relative silence from the Fort Worth Police Department. That's what's bothering folks the most right now. I want to give you a vantage point where we are right at this moment. We're at the side of the house. This is where the officers approached, walked along the side of this, which is actually one of the nicer houses in this neighborhood, walked through that fence into the backyard, and that's where that single shot was fired. What bothers the neighbors right now, and you're going to hear from more of them in a moment, is there are no police here right now. They have released a portion of that body cam video. They've released one photo of a gun inside that house after the fact. They've had a written press release, but that is it at this point. No news conference has been called. Fort Worth Police say they will not be talking anytime soon. So community leaders, for a number of reasons, including those, are incensed, and of course, they are making obvious comparisons to the death of Botham Jean in Dallas. This is part of what those community leaders had to say earlier today.
If the officer is at fault,
then the officer must suffer the consequences, because you cannot continue to kill people and justify it because they're law enforcement.
So our concern is this. Number one is that as in Dallas in both John's case, police entering the house. This time the police took it a step further, and she was in her own place and shot and killed her. That is not only unacceptable, that's murder.
That's right.
The Fort Worth police murdered this woman. Don't paint this sister as no villain.
That's right.
If you do that, if you paint this sister as a villain, this city gonna have hell to pay. Don't paint the sister as no villain. They're the ones who murdered. They murdered her, and there's no excuse for it.
None.